Welcome to Next Chapter Women, She Blooms in Solitude, a podcast for moms over 40 with independent or young adult children ready to rediscover who they are now. I'm Jess Bordas, joined by my co-host Maureen Mansi, and each week we'll uncover how to heal, grow, and reconnect with your inner strength through intentional alone time, emotional wellness, holistic care, and powerful mindset shifts so you can define your identity and reshape what middle age means for you. As certified mindset and identity coaches, holistic practitioners, and moms navigating midlife ourselves, we're here to walk with you. Join us in using solitude as the foundation to bloom again. Welcome to Next Chapter Women, She Blooms in Solitude. Today, we're exploring 3 mindset shifts that you can make to ring in 2026 as a woman over 40. What would be different if this year wasn't about becoming more, but becoming more honest with yourself? How many of you out there want to stop treating your inner world like it's a problem to solve? Today, we're going to give you those mindset shifts that you can make right now in this moment that's going to keep you more honest with yourself and ready to build this 2026 that you could not only sustain, but that you feel peaceful in. Mindset shift number 1 is going from why and did I to self-trust. What we're talking about is doubt. And it's this habit of living in constant self-interrogation. After every decision, after every conversation, after a choice, your mind immediately goes to this place of, why did I say that? Did I handle that right? What if I made the wrong move? And this becomes this sort of self-monitoring that is on overdrive. It's running your life and your mind constantly. You're replaying moments, you're second-guessing yourself, you're mentally rewriting the past, even though nothing can be changed. Let's just jump right into why that's a problem. It might sound obvious, but Maureen, can you elaborate a little bit?
Because when you're always in internal conflict, you're never finding inner peace. When you're constantly second guessing yourself, you're always just going around in circles and just never being sure of the truth inside of you. When we have self-trust, we have to understand and know that the decisions we make for ourselves are the right ones for us. When we're feeling self-doubt, listen to those things. Listen to those cues inside of you that say, hey, I thought this was going to be good, but now I'm feeling a certain way about this, and I need to listen to that. So, Jess, something happened to you. Could you tell us about your experience about feeling self-doubt?
Yeah, and before I go into that, I would like to say that one thing I noticed through having this experience and in reflection is that being in that state of experiencing so much doubt, when I asked you, why is that a problem? For me, another answer to that is because it completely disconnects you from yourself, from your inner authority. It's keeping you oriented to the past instead of your next step. Yeah, so anybody that is listening, I don't care how far along in your journey you are, all of these things are normal to experience, these situations where something crops up and you don't feel right about it and you don't know why you don't feel right about it. And so to answer your question, that happened to me recently with taking an extra job, taking some extra work, and I went out on a limb to take a job from a person that I met on an app that I didn't know. And this person, mind you, I'm well aware of the fact that they went out on a limb too. They didn't know anything about me. We didn't know anything about each other. She invited me to come and meet her and speak in person and see if it was more of a match. I started to realize that what she told me over the phone wasn't really aligning with what I was seeing in person. Now, mind you, it wasn't totally where I felt like, oh, no, this job is not right. I still didn't really know enough about the situation, and I didn't want to say no without learning more. I wanted to give it a chance. She hired me, and I showed up the next day, and as I'm getting started, things are changing again. I don't want to go into too much and reveal, who I'm talking about. I don't know if this person will ever see this in terms of what was being required of me. Things were being added on that weren't discussed initially. And so I left there feeling this is kind of weird. Like, I feel weird, but maybe I feel that way because it's new. New things feel strange. So I'm going to go back again, and I'm in a different environment. I've never been in a neighborhood like this before. Maybe that's why. So I went back the next day, and long and short is it continued to change again. She's adding more and more things on that we never discussed. And I'm starting to feel very uncomfortable. I remember doing what was asked of me that day. It went from taking a few packages to the post office to taking 4 contractor bags of packages. It was over 50 packages to the local post office. And it was just basically throwing them out the door. This was not originally discussed. Here you go. Oh, do you mind doing this again? And I was in a situation where, what was I going to say? Yeah, I actually kind of do. I could have said that, but I chose not to. And took all of the packages. And that wasn't the only instance that made me feel off. There were several other key pieces that made me feel the way that I did. But I called you. And I was like, I still feel really weird, and I don't know why. I couldn't put my finger on it.
So with that, Jess would call me, and her inner self was telling her, it felt weird. She just needs the money. The lady needs help. So she said, let's go with it, right? It was totally opposite of how Jess and I are as people. It makes for an uncomfortable situation. So we're all about aligning with people that have similar values to us. We want to have positive people in our life. And this was completely opposite how Jess operated. And that was telling her, I just don't feel right being around this person. And you listen to that.
So there were also communication and emotional pieces too, because another thing that I was realizing is that everything she was saying that she wasn't. Here's an example. It would be like, she said she didn't like texting. She preferred calls. And so I had asked her, if I need to communicate with you, what's going on? Is it okay if I text? And she's like, you can text me, but not if you expect an answer in return. And I'm like, okay. But then as I was off work on my day off, she messaged me canceling me for a day. Mind you, it's my day off and I'm out on a hike. And I didn't answer her for 2.5 hours. And she was texting, hello? Can you confirm you're getting this? This is an example of everything was a contradiction. It just made no sense.
Yeah. These are all things that happen to us in life to teach us lessons. Are you going to go with it and stay with it because you need the money? Or are you going to say, okay, this isn't working for me because I don't feel good about it, and trust there's something else better that's out there? Go through it. And then when you realize it's not good for you, don't stay in it. There's something better out there. Make room for something else to come into your life that will work out better. If you stay with it, you would be in the same cycle of feeling the same way. So when you give something up, you make room for the right thing to come into your life.
So this got me thinking about a mindset shift, because instead of staying in the doubt and just asking why, I stopped and I noticed, like, okay, I keep experiencing doubt. And the longer I stay away from this job, the increased negative feelings I'm having towards this person in this situation. But to go back to the actual shift that you could be making in these moments of doubt is understanding that the problem is you don't need to eliminate having doubt. That's not what we're saying. We're saying listen to yourself, listen to your body. Don't weaponize the doubt against yourself. Reframe it and embrace it. Go, okay, all right, this is telling me something. I'm having this because it's telling me something.
Yes. And when you listen to that inner voice, don't ever ignore it. If it feels great, awesome. If it feels wrong, then it's wrong and there's something better. You have the power inside to know what's right for you, to live your best life when you're aligning with what makes you the person you are. Go with that. Stay with that.
It also sounds like you're saying that often behind doubt, there's intuition. Maybe there was a boundary that wasn't honored. a truth that wasn't spoken, a part of you that wants reassurance, and there's something else working and going on.
Yes.
I think that an
Yep.
important note is that you don't build trust by being perfect. You build trust in yourself by staying with yourself, staying with you.
That was said perfectly, Jess. And you can't put your trust in someone else if you don't trust yourself. So if you feel a certain way, the feelings are never wrong.
Okay, so mindset shift number 2, going from I'll be happy when to taking back yourself. When you're living for and defined by a result, your identity is tied to X, Y, and Z. And an example is I heard this NFL coach in this interview. It was Sean McVay, and he said, my whole identity was wrapped up in whether I won or lost on Sunday. And so one thing you could do to identify if this goes on with you is just ask, hey, what is my identity wrapped in right now? What is the thing in my life right now where I'm telling myself, oh, if this happens or when this happens, I'll be happy. I'll be okay. My life will be on track. Is it the kids? Is it your marriage? Is it your relationship? Is it how your business is doing?
And what we have to understand is that our identity is not having it be based on conditions. Be happy where you are at the moment. We're not always going to have instant gratification. We have to be patient and wait and know that the right things are coming to us. We want to have control over everything as humans. And that is where it's a setback for us because we just try to control everything. We try to keep pushing through. We try to just keep going, getting the job done.
Never get rest, and you never get rest.
You never get rest, and you're constantly like, well, I'll be happy once I get that job. Once I get that client, I'll be happy. But everything happens when it's supposed to happen. And once we let go of the control is when you start seeing things happen. So you have to let yourself off the hook and realize that it's okay to take a step back. Don't base things on conditions. My brother is funny. I'm with my brother, and if I talk to him, oh, how are you? He's like, well, the Eagles lost today, so I'm not happy. A condition, right?
We're all guilty of that. We're all guilty of that. I do that too. I don't let it stay with me for days. Sorry,
Yeah,
I had to add that.
Yes. Yeah, we all are. But we have to know that we have to give ourselves grace. Our identity is wrapped up in who we are now in the moment, not looking ahead. I'll be great and I'll be happy once I get.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing you say that like when you're living that way and this identity is tied to a certain outcome, your mind is always postponing being present. You can never be present because you're not living in that moment. You're off thinking about X, Y, and Z. That shift would come from realizing, am I staying with myself? This is the moment when you stop living as the product and return to being the person, to being yourself.
And as humans, I mean, every day there's something that comes up that's a test or a lesson. And we're either going to learn from it or we're going to repeat it. And these things might keep showing up in your life over and over and over again to keep teaching you the lesson because our egos control everything. You just have to trust yourself and take a step back and know that you are where you're supposed to be in the moment. When you're chasing, you're never giving it space for the right thing to come to you.
I also feel that it's important to note that we're not asking anyone to stop caring about results, okay, and not have goals. We're saying stop abandoning yourself in order to reach these things.
So just take a step back, allow yourself the time to let things happen around you. The right things will come.
This was your mindset shift number 3, going from I get it all done to whoa, slow down. It sounds obvious, but to elaborate on what that means, it's a place where you're tying your identity to your level of productivity. Your worth is measured by this never-ending to-do list. What did I finish? What's still left undone? Your identity slowly becomes you're the one that keeps everything moving. You hold it all together. You're staying useful, and rest, slowness, pause, you almost might feel like that's irresponsible to have rest, to be slow, to pause. Or like you only earn those things when you're completely exhausted. So maybe, Maureen, you could talk about why that's a problem for a person.
Well, sure, because with us building our business, it's been a really busy year. And I am a key example. I'm trying to practice what I preach here. It's not always easy for me. There was an example when we were talking about doing this episode that I was just going. It was the end of the year. I was trying to do stuff for the business. I was working on stuff for my job. I was doing stuff around my apartment. And I had all this anxiety. And I'm like, Maureen, what are you doing? Take a step back, take a couple deep breaths, listen to how your body is feeling. So I was having a real human experience, and I'm aware enough to know that I am the problem and that I can make the change to slow down
Right.
and pull back. And then I got sick. And then if that wasn't a divine intervention, that really forced me to slow down. God
So
was like,
you just put to words what that shift would look like, where you come to a place, catch yourself realizing I'm
mhm.
measuring my day by my output, to shifting to say, I'm going to measure my day by how I show up and I'm present. That's how I'm going to measure my day. Instead of, did I get it all done? Did I allow myself enough space to actually be in my own life today? I think I'm going to write that question down and put that somewhere where I can see. Did I allow myself enough space to actually be in my own life today? It's pretty important.
That is so important. And I think when we show up on a daily basis regularly, you just give it your best in the moments that you have. If you're doing the best that you can on any given day, I mean, one day isn't going to be as good as the next, and vice versa. And just be at the point where you're happily in the moments of going through your day, and be okay if everything doesn't get done, because there's always another day.
And slowing down doesn't mean doing nothing. You can pause and slow down. That's how you take your identity back from productivity. You're not here to prove your worth through your output. You're here to experience your life, and that requires space. Even if you take 5 minutes, take 5 minutes to pause.
If you can acknowledge that what is going on in your body at the moment where you're feeling overwhelmed and you have to get stuff done, that's half the battle. That's the first step. Just acknowledging that you know that you need to take 5 minutes, take a couple deep breaths. I found myself that day taking lots of deep breaths just to calm myself and get back to a moment where I felt more at peace inside. And just
Did it work?
it does. Yes. The breath work always works for me, because you're not doing anything but sitting there and allowing yourself to breathe. You're fully present when you're just with your breath. And it always does help. If you can get to a point where you know that just breathing and just taking a couple of deep breaths during the day can get you to a calm place, that's great. Do it.
And some people need permission. So if you're
Mhm.
listening to this right now, consider that your permission. Go ahead.
Yes. Doesn't mean you're lazy. Doesn't mean, oh, you used a minute to take time. That's great. That's better. You'll be more productive by taking, back those moments by
Yes.
breathing.
Yes.
And you'll be better for the rest of the day when you realize, hey, I need to take this moment for me.
You also have to figure out telling yourself when to stop at something.
Mhm.
I experienced that
Yeah.
last night. I was working on through
Talk about
the
it.
editing. I was stuck on something and I couldn't move a piece that was supposed to be at the beginning, and it was getting really frustrating, but I had been working for whatever 5 or 6 hours on stuff, and that was the sign. Okay, it's time to wrap this up. Go to bed, get clear, do whatever it is that you do. I'm not saying you have to go to bed. Do whatever you do to make yourself feel better, peaceful.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of these times came up, building our business and getting together at the end of the day, and something's not working out. Right. I can't get the banner to work for our page, and right. And we couldn't find the contact for the wellness fair. It was the end of the day on Friday. These were both Fridays. We both had worked. And then I'm like, you know what? let's stop. We're done. This is saying we're done. And instead of beating ourselves up about it and trying to figure it out until whenever it was going to work out, and then we have to say, we're done. Let's put this stuff away. There's always tomorrow. It always seems that the next day after a good night's rest and you give yourself space to just be with you and not work, it all comes together.
Yeah,
We got the
that's
table at the
true.
wellness fair the next morning. I'm like, if it's meant to be, it'll be there. And then the banner, magically, you got it to work because, you gave yourself some moments for yourself and to let it go. And it worked.
It's important to say that if you just implement these things, like you don't have to be overwhelmed or put a ton of energy. It's just little drops in the buckets. Doing these things daily, here and there, over time, where you will look back over, a set chunk, larger chunk, 6 months, a year, 2 years, and you'll see a difference.
And I would like to add something to this. We both have older kids. And as we're figuring out the truth in us and being honest with ourselves, our kids are seeing this. And they're starting to find that they want to find the truth in them and what works for them. Because they're seeing the things that are happening around them from us, the things that we teach them or the things that we talk about. They're realizing that, hey, I matter and I don't want to go through the motions and be unhappy. That they're figuring out at a young age who they really want to be because we're surrounding them with these things. Jess, do you agree with me?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do. They take in everything. And it's when you're practicing this overall, really mindfulness is what we're talking about. All of those shifts were examples of mindfulness. It will go from just internally, how you're feeling, to externally, to where your entire environment feels, the peace radiates. And then that's where, whether it's your kids or anybody in your life, is going to experience and feel that.
Yeah. And that's great. That's great stuff. Being affected by this stuff your kids see are such great, valuable lessons for them, and they get to learn so much about themselves and perhaps use the same tools you're using.
So let's just recap the 3 shifts that we discussed here today. We talked about from living in the past and being riddled with doubt to noticing, embracing doubt, and trusting your intuition.
We have a habit as humans ignoring and saying, but I think this is probably going to work out for me but if you're having a certain feeling, go with it. It probably isn't right.
We talked about having your identity tied to an outcome, living for an outcome, and measuring your own worth by the specific result to stop living as the product and return to being the person. And again, asking, did I stay with myself in this moment? How did I show up for X, Y, and Z? Not what the outcome of that was.
And then how did you let it go after you showed up? If you're okay with putting in the work and then just letting it sit, the right things are going to come to you at the right time.
Yeah, this is really hard though. It is a tough one because there's some people that, like for myself, where, I believe in that principle, but I have an internal conflict because I have this other part of my brain that has other ideas. I'm driven, I'm motivated. And that's why we brought up, we're not telling you not to have goals, because there is a conflict there of where you're sitting there saying, okay, yes, do I truly believe that things will happen when they're supposed to? But hey, I'm driven and I'm ambitious and I'm going to do what I need to do to try to draw something to me or make something happen. And you shouldn't feel bad about that either. That's just a way of being. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, Jess, I agree with what you're saying. And that's the kind of person you are. Again, we're human and you work so hard at what you do and you want to have sometimes immediate results. And sometimes the world just doesn't work like that, right? The universe has other plans.
It's not even just about that I walk around wanting to have immediate results. I'm very passionate and driven. I'm going to do whatever needs to be done. If I have something in mind that I want to make it happen, I'm going to.
Yes.
But I guess it's being able to have the coping skills. Well, first the awareness and stopping yourself and going, all right, you got to slow down a little bit, and that's okay. It's just knowing yourself.
And we're all different. You know, your strengths are different than my strengths, and vice versa. And we don't want to be that person that always agrees with the other person on things. We want to align with the same values, but we have to respect each other's differences and the way that we think about things.
And so the last mindset shift we talked about was measuring yourself or tying your identity to your level of productivity and moving from that to, did I allow myself enough space to actually be in my life today? And that is my favorite question.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I have anything more to add to that, because that sentence just says it all.
Thanks so much for joining us here today on Next Chapter Women, She Blooms in Solitude. It's about that awareness piece. That starts all of it, is the awareness.
Yeah, you said it. Awareness. You've won the first part of the battle if you're just aware of how you're feeling in a moment and what you need to do to get back to you. To be in a good place. So.
If you're watching this, feel free to leave a comment. Let us know what you think about this, what you want more of. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share us with your friends so they can subscribe. We're trying to grow here, so you can help us. We would be tremendously grateful for that.
Yeah, so follow us along. If any of this resonates with you, and we hope that it does, we're here and we can relate.
Until next time, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Next Chapter Women, She Blooms in Solitude. We'd love to hear from you, so come say hi on Facebook and share your biggest takeaway from today's episode. And if you're ready to rediscover who you are in this new season, you can learn more about how we can help or book a free empowerment call through the link in the show notes. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss what's next.